Okay guys, quick little story time. So, 10 years ago in college, there was this beautiful man and I threw up all over his shoes and I proceeded to send him a very embarrassing email while I was completely tanked. Fast forward to 10 years later now, I find out he is my colleague and friend's brother. That's great, right? So he was telling me that his girlfriend cheated on him, so he's been really down. So I thought, I should cheer him up. Maybe I'll set him up on some dates. And he started setting me up on some dates. And then we were vibing more on these like double date setups with each other than we were vibing with the actual like people that we set ourselves up with. So if I got your attention with that story, then you're gonna wanna read Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren. If you're new here, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chrissy and this is my Cozy Corner. So today in this video, we're gonna be talking about my top 10 favorite romance books of all time. So I'm gonna put right here in the corner was my star rating, because although these are my top 10 favorite romance books of all time, they may not have exactly been a 5-star because it takes a lot for me to really rate something a 5-star. So I'm gonna put my rating, spice rating, and then what tropes are in the book. Starting with the number 10 spot, which goes to Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren, which I've already told you the synopsis about it. That wasn't really my real life. So we're gonna move on now to number 9. Coming in at number 9 is Out on a Limb by Bonam-Young. So this is about Wen and Beau. Wen meets Beau at a Halloween party and she has really great conversation with him. So she invites him to spend the night, which ends up leading to them being in each other's lives a little bit more than they anticipated. So they build a friendship and then of course they eventually fall in love, as most romance books work. But I thought this one was really different. I don't really want to give away why I thought it was different. You're just gonna have to read to find out. What I loved about this book is that their conversations felt really mature and that in general they acted mature. They didn't have miscommunication problems. They were always communicating effectively. So yeah, number 9, Out on a Limb. So coming in at my number 8 spot is Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino. So in Before We Were Strangers, you have Matt and Grace who meet 15 years ago in college. So they build a friendship first and then they eventually start to fall for each other. And then all of a sudden they stop talking and you're just trying to figure out what happened, why they're estranged and all that. So 15 years later, Matt sees Grace at the subway station. If only for a brief moment, they both see each other and recognize each other. But then she's on the subway, she's on the F train, and she's gone. So with that, he goes to Craigslist Missing Connections and he posts about, you know, his green-eyed girl. So he tries to reconnect with her and then they kind of go from there. It bounces back and forth between past and present timeline, which is my favorite format. This was a beautiful story. You have to read it. My number 8 spot. All right, so coming in at number 7 is Him. It's Him, then it's Us, then it's Epic. So I'm just gonna hold up Him for this one for my number 7 spot. So Him is a friends to lovers romance. It's about Jamie and Ryan. They were childhood friends. Something happens between them to where they just gotta go their separate ways. Ryan cuts him out and Jamie just can't figure out, well, why are you cutting me out, Ryan? We were best friends. So fast forward to them in college, their teams are facing off against one another. So they're kind of in a forced proximity situation. Not only in that, but they agree, both of them, to coach a summer camp for boys hockey. So then they're forced to confront their problems and figure out what really went wrong back then and a lot of other things about their relationship that they're trying to discover. My number 6 spot goes to one of my personal favorite authors of all time. I've loved every single book she's ever written, and that's gonna be People We Meet on Vacation by Miss Emily Henry. This has got my favorite tropes in it. It's got my favorite format of past to present timeline. It's got my favorite tropes of friends to strangers to lovers. In this, it's Alex and Poppy, and Poppy is this extroverted, quirky person, and then Alex is more of an introvert and a little bit more laid back. So then after sharing a car ride in college, Poppy and Alex become fast friends, and they promise to take a vacation every summer until something happens and they no longer are speaking. They've taken like a decade's worth of vacations and then they don't speak for 2 years after that because, like I said, something goes down and you're like bopping back and forth past to present to figure out what exactly went wrong. And Poppy is determined to try and get their friendship back. I know that I read this kind of around when it was first released, and it was my first like real rom-com because I'm really used to reading like a lot of fantasy books. So I was like kicking my feet the whole time. I was in love with this book. I couldn't stop thinking about it after I read it. I thought it just was done. The Friends to Lovers was just done so well, and the writing, Emily Henry is such a great writer. So I know this is not a lot of people's favorite. I know Book Lovers and Happy Place are most people's favorite, but this is definitely one of my favorite Emily Henry books. But like I said, all of her books are great, so you can't go wrong with any of them in my opinion. So we have entered my top 5 favorite romance books of all time. Coming in at number 5, speaking of Miss Emily Henry and speaking of Happy Place, is Happy Place by Emily Henry. In Happy Place, Harriet and Wynne are perfect for each other. All their friends think so. Everybody is like, they're getting married and all this. But they end up breaking up, and you don't know exactly why they broke up. They break up prior to this annual vacation that their whole group of friends that they met in college takes every single year, because Harriet and Wynne don't want to ruin the annual vacation and make things awkward. They decide to just fake date so that their friends are not sad by their breakup. This one felt really mature because they're forced to really converse about the issues that they had in their relationship and some things that they needed to try and fix. One of the things that I really liked about this is Harriet is struggling with her career that she's in. She's a surgical resident, so she's kind of struggling with what like path she wants to take in her career, which is so real, is something that I struggle with. A lot of, I think, people struggle with this issue. To me, this is one of her most well-written ones. It's not just like a romance. It feels like part romance and part literary fiction because you're kind of following the group of friends and you're seeing some other things that are just like kind of outside of the romance. I think that this one is currently one of my favorites. I keep saying I gotta reread People We Meet on Vacation and Beach Read to really see. I just know that Book Lovers is my least favorite, but I still like Book Lovers, but it's, I don't know why. I don't know. It's just something about that one wasn't my, and that's like everybody's favorite one is Book Lovers. So I'm like, what am I, you know, like, what's wrong with me? No, but it's okay because, you know, of course, opinions are subjective. Coming in at number 4 is Yours Truly by Miss Abby Jimenez. In this one, Brianna is a doctor and she's trying to get a promotion to become the chief of emergency medicine. She is competing with a different doctor, which we'll get to that in a second. The next thing is her brother needs a kidney, and then she just finalized her divorce. So she's got a lot going on in her life right now. So the doctor that's threatening her promotion. So then a new doctor named Jacob is hired, and she's not really happy because she thinks he's threatening her promotion. So then he sends her a letter, or he writes her a letter, which is so cute. And she realized, you know what? I think I was too hard on him. She starts seeing Jacob in a whole different light, and they start sending letters back and forth, and it's so cute. One of the things I love about Jacob is he has anxiety, so all of the things that made him anxious and all the like thoughts he had, I felt like I could relate to because I too have anxiety, and I felt like he was just speaking to me, that character. I think of any character that I've ever read, Jacob is one that I have like related to the most. So his inner thoughts were just so accurate for anxiety representation. Yours Truly, I absolutely love this one, number 4. All right, y'all, we're in the final 3. So the next one I never see talked about, and I absolutely feel like it is such a good one, and it checks all my boxes that I love. Second Chance. Then we got a little bit of like It's Always Been You to I Haven't Spoke to You in a While, and then You Come Back in My Life, Past the Present Timelines. These are all my favorite things in a contemporary romance. As you can see, most of the books up here have the exact type of trope and format. So it is Say You Still Love Me by K.A. Tucker. This one is about Piper and Kyle. So Piper is currently the vice president at her father's firm, and then Kyle is a new security guard that starts working there. Lo and behold, it's her first love, Kyle, from summer camp. She met him when she was, I think, 16. They had this like epic love at summer camp. And then something goes down. Honestly, you'll never guess why they stopped talking. Like, I couldn't, and you'll never guess it. And you might. Let me know in the comments if you do guess it. But she's wondering, like, okay, so you stopped talking to me. What the heck? Yay for number 3. All right, so then next 2 were in my 18 favorite books of all time video. So if you want to check that one out, I will link it at the end of this video. My number 2 spot goes to 28 Summers by Elin Hilderbrand. This one feels more of like a contemporary fiction, literary fiction, contemporary romance. So this one is actually inspired by the classic movie Same Time Next Year, where it's kind of the same concept. Mallory has inherited her aunt's beachfront cottage, and her brother wants to throw a bachelorette party and use the cottage, so he invites his friends, and one of them ends up being Jake, who she clicks with. They decide that they're gonna meet every year the same time, the weekend of Labor Day, and spend the weekend together no matter what is going on in their lives. So yeah, if you don't like cheating, maybe don't read this, but in my opinion, I don't like it, but I didn't mind it in this book, the way that it's written. I definitely felt like Jake and Mallory were 100% soulmates. My number 1 spot goes to Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. Not one person who knows me is surprised by this reveal at all. I love this book so much. After not speaking for 10 years, Macy runs into her first and only love, Elliot, and all these memories start crashing back down. When they were children, they bonded over a shared love for books, and they started spending weekends and summers together, and eventually their relationship evolved into something more. Of course, something happens between them, and you're trying to figure out why exactly they became estranged. So this one is told in alternating timelines, and Christina Lauren really takes my favorite tropes and format and just flat out like nails it. Nails it. So my favorite tropes, I've said them this whole video. Friends, it could be friends to lovers, second chance, childhood friends to lovers, to strangers to lovers. That's this one, my absolute favorite. It's an always been you type of trope. The past to present timeline is my favorite format, and all of that is in this book. A lot of books do this, and a lot of the books that I have here have a lot of these same tropes and the same format, but none of them do it as good as Christina Lauren does this in Love in Other Words. It is absolutely fantastic in my opinion. Alright y'all, thank you so much for sticking around and listening to me talk about my top 10 favorite romance books of all time. I love doing these videos. I love connecting with people. I love talking about books, and that's all I want to do. So until next time, I post videos every Sundays. I hope to see you next Sunday. Bye guys.